The moment Outlander fans saw Caitriona Balfe and Heughan connected under an official spotlight, the reaction was instant. It did not need a dramatic confession, a scandalous headline, or some secret to make people stop scrolling. For this fandom, sometimes all it takes is seeing those two names side by side. After over a decade of Jamie and Claire, and suddenly the emotional history of the series comes rushing back. That is why this moment hits so hard. On the surface, it may have looked simple. Two actors linked again through the world they helped build. But for fans who have followed them from Outlander's earliest days, it felt bigger than a normal update. It felt like a reminder. A reminder of the first time Claire stepped through the stones. The first time Jamie looked at her with that impossible mix of strength and tenderness. And the first time viewers realized this was not going to be just another historical romance. Caitriona and Sam have always carried something rare on screen. Their chemistry never felt like it was only written into the script. It felt lived in. It felt earned. And that is the part fans keep returning to whenever they appear together officially. There is a comfort in seeing them side by side, because for many viewers, their partnership became the emotional anchor of the show. Seasons changed. Storylines grew darker. Characters came and went. But Jamie and Claire remained the heartbeat. So when fans say they are shocked, it is not only because Caitriona and Sam are together again in the public Outlander conversation. It is because the feeling is still there. The familiarity is still there. The emotional pull is still there. After 10 years, people expect some distance. They expect the magic to fade. But then one official appearance, one shared mention, one familiar moment, and suddenly fans are right back where they started, remembering why they fell in love with this story. What makes the reaction even more powerful is the contrast between how calm the moment may have seemed and how loudly fans felt it. Caitriona and Sam have always handled the Outlander spotlight with professionalism. They know how intense the fandom can be. They know every smile, every look, and every small exchange can become a conversation. But that is not because fans are looking for something fake. It is because the emotional investment is real. Viewers spent years watching them portray a love story built on separation, survival, loyalty, sacrifice, and reunion. Naturally, any real-world moment that brings them back into focus carries extra weight. And this is where the meltdown began. Fans were not simply reacting to two celebrities. They were reacting to a decade of memories. They remembered the interviews where Sam spoke with pride about the journey. They remembered Caitriona's thoughtful reflections on Claire's strength. They remembered the behind-the-scenes laughter, the emotional premieres, the long waits between seasons, and the way the fandom kept the story alive even when the cameras were quiet. To outsiders, the reaction might seem dramatic. To Outlander fans, it makes perfect sense. Because Caitriona and Sam together represent more than promotion. They represent trust. They represent the kind of acting partnership that can make fictional love feel emotionally true. That does not mean fans need to turn it into a rumor. In fact, the strongest part of their bond is that it has always been rooted in respect, craft, and shared history. The shock is not about scandal. The shock is about endurance. It is about realizing that after all these years, their connection to this story still has the power to move people. There's also something bittersweet underneath the excitement. Outlander is no longer at the beginning of its journey. Fans can feel the final chapters approaching, and that changes how every moment lands. A simple official update now feels like a piece of legacy. A photo feels like a memory being protected. A reunion feels like a quiet promise that the heart of the show has not been forgotten. That is why this moment sent fans into meltdown. It brought together nostalgia, excitement, and a little fear of goodbye. Caitriona Balfe and Heughan did not need to say anything outrageous. Their names together were enough. After a decade of Jamie and Claire, the real shock is that the emotion has not faded. If anything, it has only become much stronger. What makes Caitriona Balfe and Heughan's bond feel so powerful is not one single moment. It is the weight of everything fans have watched them carry together. For more than a decade, they have stood at the center of Outlander, not just as two performers playing Jamie and Claire, but as the emotional foundation of a story that asked viewers to believe in love across time, war, grief, separation, and impossible choices. That kind of connection cannot be faked easily. Fans know when chemistry feels forced, and they also know when something on screen has depth. From the earliest episodes, Caitriona and Sam created a rhythm that felt natural. The sharpness of Claire's independence beside Jamie's quiet loyalty. The fire of their arguments beside the tenderness of their reunions. That contrast made the romance feel alive, because it was never perfect. It was passionate, complicated, wounded, and deeply human. Over the years, their partnership has grown into something fans recognize immediately. It is in the way they speak about the show with respect. It is in the way they acknowledge how much Jamie and Claire mean to people. It is in the way they have carried emotional scenes without making them feel mechanical. Even when the story moved through painful territory, their performances kept the heart steady. That is why seeing them connected again after 10 years feels less like promotion and more like a return to something familiar. The most important thing, though, is that fans do not need to turn this bond into a scandal for it to matter. Caitriona and Sam's real strength has always been their professionalism, trust, and shared creative history. They have spent years building one of television's most beloved fictional couples. And that takes more than good dialogue. It takes patience, vulnerability, timing, and a willingness to protect the emotional truth of the characters. That is what fans respond to. There is a beautiful contrast here. In real life, Caitriona and Sam are actors with their own lives, careers, and boundaries. On screen, they become Jamie and Claire, a couple whose love has survived centuries of danger and heartbreak. Fans understand the difference, but they also understand why the line feels emotionally powerful. When two actors commit so fully to a story, the audience carries that feeling with them long after the episode ends. That is why this decade-long bond still sparks so much reaction. It reminds fans of the journey they have taken with the characters. They remember the first meeting, the wedding, the separations, the returns, the aging, the losses, and the moments when Jamie and Claire found each other again. Every new appearance from Caitriona and Sam seems to reopen that emotional archive. It makes people feel as if they are not only watching a show, but revisiting a part of their own lives. And now, with Outlander moving closer to its final chapters, every shared moment feels heavier. Fans are excited, but there is also a quiet sadness underneath. The thought of saying goodbye to Jamie and Claire makes even small updates feel precious. A simple interview, a promotional appearance, or a shared reflection can suddenly feel like part of a farewell season. That is why the phrase, together after a decade, carries so much emotional force. It sounds joyful, but it also reminds fans how much time has passed. Speculation naturally follows. Some fans wonder whether this moment points toward a major final season reveal, a deeper promotional reunion, or a heartfelt celebration of the show's legacy. Others simply see it as a sign that the bond between the actors and the fandom remains strong. The truth may be simpler than the theories, but that does not make it less meaningful. Sometimes the most powerful moments are not shocking because they expose something hidden. They're shocking because they reveal how much people still care. That is the real reason Caitriona and Sam's decade-long bond continues to matter. It is not built on gossip. It is built on memory, trust, and emotional storytelling. They gave fans Jamie and Claire in a way that felt unforgettable, and now every time they stand together in the Outlander world, viewers feel the full weight of that gift. That lasting feeling is why the fandom keeps returning, remembering, and hoping for one more unforgettable moment together. After 10 years, the connection still feels powerful because the story still feels alive, and for loyal fans, that is the most emotional shock of all.